Shetty. हम उनसे जानेंगे about how his weakest point is being a father and being unable to handle his children's issues. इडली बेचने के टॉन्ट से लेकर ऑलमोस्ट 140 फिल्म्स तक की जर्नी के बारे में, और कैसे जब उनका करियर टफ फेज से गुजर रहा था तब उनकी रियल एस्टेट इन्वेस्टमेंट्स एंड होम बाइंग स्ट्रैटेजीज ने उन्हें हेल्प किया. ये एपिसोड एंड तक जरूर देखिए. एंड टू नो मोर अबाउट बिरला एस्टेट्स रियल एडवाइस इनिशिएटिव, क्लिक द लिंक इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन. I had a question for you. And this is completely out of what I've observed. कि आप ना सिर्फ आप काफी प्रोटेक्टर रोल है आपका, ऑन स्क्रीन ऑफ स्क्रीन इट्स ऑलवेज लाइक आई गॉट इट. सब आपको अन्ना भी बुलाते हैं. इट्स वेरी यू नो आई एम द बिग ब्रदर एंड आई विल प्रोटेक्ट यू एंड यू हैव दैट वाइब अ लॉट. किसने आपको प्रोटेक्ट किया इन लाइफ?
आई थिंक माय कम्युनिटी डिड. यू नो पहले से ऑफ कोर्स शुरुआत तो पिताजी से ही होती है, लेकिन मेरे जो my community went through a lot when we first came in. You know, this whole thing about go back to your villages, you don't belong here. So there was a lot of issues till they understood us also. You know, if you see, we were the only food supply chain to get food at the right price. Even today, it's only the South Indian restaurants that will give you food at the right price. Hygienic to a level that even the top guns cannot compare. I mean, now the American brands have come and say we are fast food. We were super fast food. अब ऑर्डर दो यहाँ से यहाँ आता है and at a price which is most affordable. आपने 99 कर दिया, हम हमेशा 99 के अंदर ही थे, थाली हो या कुछ भी हो. So when we went through that, each family supported the other. So every person who came from Tulunad, everybody who came from Karnataka, were people who were saying, "Acha, his restaurant is my restaurant. There's a problem there." All the restaurants would shut and the boys would end going there. So we were there for each other. And the chit fund system that worked, Dad didn't have money. 10 of them would get together and say, okay, we'd put in so much money every month, and whoever needs it, you get a chance. If it's 10 once, you pick it up. And as per the need of the hour, they used to pick up money. Zero interest. It was chit fund. Kam mein hua, it was balanced. So at the end of it, you all got your money. No banks, no institutions. So all these things, they are the protectors. Nice. So if you see finance, the financial hub of India is Mangalore. You know, you talk about any bank and you'd say, oh, that's the birthplace of banking. What did they do? They supported each other. If somebody came, they gave them jobs. They gave them, so because everybody was educated. So bankers were 90% were South Indians. And even that continues even today. Education is free. Why does it happen when you support each other? So I'd always say it's my community that has given me that. And it's not me. You know, you see any Shetty boy and he'll have this big brother feel about him. You know, this feel of, I've got somebody covering my back.
Because the community takes care of everything. Community. Strong community, strong father. आपके traits भी बहुत strong. Right? हर चीज over the years.
देख के जो मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ, देख के
environment and family
environment. Yeah.
What's the weakest you have been ever?
I guess as a father, you know, anytime anything with the kids, I can never handle it. You know, if it's Ahan or Athya or Rahul or them going through any issues is something that breaks me. Their Mana is stronger. She's much stronger. I mean, even if Ahan fell and there was a bruise on his head, I think I would collapse before him. You know, you're physically strong for yourself and you're there for everybody, but when these matters, I can't handle it. I can never handle it. Never. To this date, dad unwell, mom unwell, I can't handle it. And I'm very weak there.
Tell me the weakest thought you have had.
Something that I've always prayed for. And for years together, the only thing I prayed for was, God, take me before you take my parents. I didn't want to lose anybody in life. Death was a thought that kept coming into my mind every single night. I don't want to lose anybody. I don't want to lose anybody. I don't want to lose anybody. And because it's family, no? That's why I keep feeling joint families are families that Indians should always be a part of. Because there was no anxiety, there was no depression, there was no stress. Everything was managed. You know, everything else I would recover from. I've never been scared about anything, threats, underworld. Everything that happened to me was, "Theek hai, ho jayega." Failure, Friday flops, financial issues. Nothing. I never worried. To date, I never worry about all that. But health and personal things matter a lot to me. As parents started aging, that fear of you have to lose someone sometime. Dad was unwell for a long time, 4 years. It was very unfair of me. It was very selfish on my behalf, the family's behalf, that I didn't want him to go. Though he didn't have the quality of life he would want to live. But you don't want to let go, you know. So I don't think I've let go of him even now. It's been 8 years, 9 years. But his thought brings a tear in my eye. So all that continues. So there I'm very weak, very weak.
What happened when you lost him?
Just got the feeling that that home, that shelter, that protector is gone. And suddenly you're the one who has to take all the responsibilities. I always was. But the responsibility of health and well-being of the people is something that I could never control. Fortunately, like I say, Mana is very strong there. We call her the doctor of the house. And that's literally how it is. If Tia has fever, Ahan has fever, I don't know how to handle it. I don't know what is in me. Maybe that whole feeling of, you know, me praying all my life for all these things was fear. But if I saw, oh, आज इधर से jump करना है यार, 5वें माले से jump करना है, बक्से लगे हुए, चल लगा, excited to go. If I have to do a stunt, excited to do it. वरना नहीं. दूसरा stunt कर रहा. I've never seen a stuntman do a stunt. I've never seen my body double, which is very rare, or somebody else do a stunt and I've watched the stunt. I've always come, I've turned my back, walked out. And you can ask anybody that in my 35 years of my career, I've never seen a stunt happening. Once it's done, I turn around and say, Sab theek? And I'm trembling. But if I'm doing it, there's no problem. So there's inherently some kind of weakness. I don't know what I'd put it down to, but you know.
So around family, the fear.
Yeah.
So what were you feeling jab dad passed away? At that moment?
Absolutely numb, anxiety, and knowing that I was going to lose him. I was ready. I have accepted it, but still think of him every single day. My day begins with praying for him and praying to him and ends with praying to him. You know?
Every day.
Every single day. Every single day.
You miss him today?
Yeah.
What do you talk to? Do you talk to him?
I mean, you know, the thing is, I also get the feeling that we did everything. The sisters, mom, me, my wife, my children did everything to keep him alive. But he couldn't speak. So, did we push him extra? So sometimes that is also, it's good for you, but was it good for him? You know, and I was never physical with him while growing up. I worshipped him. That's why I always say every father and son needs to physically. I'm very physical with Ahan, even today, with Rahul. I'm very physical. Father and son need to hug, to touch, to talk, to understand, to cry. He needs to cry on your shoulder. You need to cry on his shoulder. You know,
आपने नहीं किया अपने पापा के साथ?
After a certain age and stuff like that. Respect. It's out of respect that it doesn't happen.
कभी ऐसे पापा का approval चाहिए था बड़े होते हुए?
हमेशा. In his
always seeking his approval.
Yeah, always seeking his approval. Always asking mom what he thought. And you know, typical father won't praise you in front of you, but behind your back. And then mom has to explain. See, you were not there and he said this.
Were you scared कि disappoint करोगे पापा को कभी?
Always.
कभी किया?
Always. No, I don't think so. I think I was a very, very disciplined son, a very obedient son. And that's why, whether it was martial arts or not, no drinking, no smoking, trying to be that perfect child, was to please him. You know, was to please him. Always.
There were but complications ना जब आपने शादी करी थी.
Yeah, क्योंकि they didn't want anything outside of the family. They didn't want me to marry someone outside of the family. And because they believe different cultures, she won't fit in. But it was he who, when Mana came to drop me, and he came to drop me at the airport for my first film, and I was going for 60 days. And Mana came to drop me, and I never expected Dad to come to drop me. He says, I'm coming to the airport to drop you. All the best to you. And I had already committed to Mana ki, yeah, you come with me. And then she said, okay, I'll go to the airport. I know what to do. I said, okay. And then he met me, he saw me, I went, saw her, and then he saw her, and he left. He went and spoke to her, took her home. And that was the day. And I think 60 days after that, she had to go home and spend time with him every day. So somewhere, it's the father who understands.
But did you face complications in the beginning? I was reading that कि कुछ साल तक घर वाले ready नहीं थे for your love.
For 9 years.
For 9
For
years.
9 years. Nahin. They said, you won't be happy, she won't be happy. We never discussed it. They said no. But I was very clear about one thing. Ki, you want me to marry someone else? It's not going to be possible. Because I don't want to destroy 2 lives or 3 lives, including my own. So let's not get into that. I won't get married. And for me, it was still okay. Guy saying, I won't get married. A girl, tough for her because her parents had accepted me. Her mother and me were a house on fire. I learned so much in life from that lady. The art of giving is the art of living, and CSR and public and working with people. She's the one who taught me everything.
So how did you decide at that age? 91 you got married, no?
Yeah.
So 91 ke pehle 9 years.
9 years.
9 in that era, jahan pe it's a big taboo, big thing.
Yeah.
And finally, India was also going through that phase कि अच्छा आप community के साथ रहते हो तो ही आगे बढ़ते हो नहीं तो आप protected नहीं. Like that was a very different time than today.
Yeah, very, very different. Very different.
उस time पे convince करना to marry someone who's not from your religion, from your family, from your area. I don't know. I
think time. Listen, time is the biggest healer, and time. So my parents saw the fact that fine, they knew their son that he would be sincere. They didn't know whether it would last without. But when they realized that a girl has given up everything for their son, what better partner could they look for?
Fair. But what made you choose कि मैं family की ये बात नहीं मानूंगा, मैं तो इतना family person उसके बाद भी I'll be okay to not get family's approval and still choose love of my life?
But I wasn't doing anything wrong to them either. I said I won't get married. Fine. We won't get married. Both of us won't get married. So we're not hurting you at all. Let me be the way I am. And that's because I believed in her completely. And she was only giving. And even today, she's only about giving. I don't bother about anything in the house. But the littlest of things to do with me, right from whether my nails have been cut or no, or my toothpaste is over or no, or my brush needs a change, she's aware of. It's unbelievable. It's insane. And she was like that way at that time also. And not only me. Whether it's Ahan, whether it's Atya, whether it's my mom, whether it was dad and her, she were a house on fire. I think when he passed, she was a daughter. I was a son-in-law probably. Everything for him in those 4 years was Mana. And he'd got a headache. She'd give him something and he'd do this. And she was the magic wand. Even if she gave him a mint and said it's for your headache, his headache would be okay. It was such an unbelievable relationship. I can't even tell you.
And kya change kiya after 9 years? What changed? What was the moment of time?
I think those 60 days of them spending time with each other. And she, even today, is like a child. And even then was like a child. She's very expressive. We come from a family that is we don't express. Physical is not something that we did. She's someone who's very physical. So I think she got physical with dad, got physical with mom. And that chirpiness, that energy of hers, spontaneously responding to everything, appreciating everything. I think probably he also hadn't seen that. That he had put in such hard work, working from the age of 9. How many of us must have appreciated him physically or personally told him that, Dad, this is what you've done, unbelievable. Today I keep talking about my dad, but I never did it when probably he was going through his worst periods. I never realized. I mean, children don't realize the sacrifice that they do, And now I realize, what? He had 3 restaurants, but the minute we were born, he gave away 2 and took care of only 1. Why did he do that? Because he wanted to have lunch with us. Because he wanted to have breakfast with us. He wanted that Wednesday holiday with us. He wanted to come back home by 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock and spend dinner time with us. Mom would be teaching us. He would be sitting there and saying, study, because he wouldn't know. And mom was at it. So he would want to watch that. He'd want to watch TV. He would want to convert the dining table into a table tennis table and play with us. We never appreciated it. She brought about appreciation.
What's one thing you wish you would have told your dad?
That I am who I am is only because of you. Every trait in me is because of him. Every trait. Everything that is good about me is because of him. Everything that is real about me is because of my birthplace and where I come from. You know.
You never told him this?
No, I never told him this. Of course, the last 3-4 years were magical together. I mean, probably then I did tell him everything, physical with him, would be kissing him and holding him all the time. But I wish he could reciprocate in the same way, you know, being all there.
But you said कि सारे traits वापस ही आए. Tell me one trait which is good and one bad.
A good trait is blind faith. And a bad trait is in today's time, doesn't work. You get hurt. You get hurt a hell of a lot, you know, and...
कि हर किसी पे blind faith.
हाँ, हर किसी पे. लेकिन आज भी मैं वैसे ही हूँ.
Trust forward.
Yeah. That's my only... documents don't work for me. Trust works for me. Handshakes work for me. Bol diya is that kind of thing. And I've lost a hell of a lot. But mom always says that's what he was made for. This is his CSR. Let him do what he does. You know, and so when you get an approval from the mother itself, then that becomes your being. You want to be that way, you know. And that's mom.
Tell me one betrayal you've had because you trusted somebody.
Oh, a hell of a lot, yeah. So many times, business-wise, friends, childhood friends, whom you don't. I mean, without paperwork, without anything, I've done everything from them and then realized that you're not a part of the deal itself, you know. So these are the things because you're focused as an actor, trying to build a career in a world that is so damn tough that you don't understand next Friday होने वाला क्या है. पिक्चर हिट होती है फिर भी लोग बोलते हैं कि यार वुडन है, एक्टिंग नहीं आती, हिंदी नहीं आती, you should go back to selling idlis. You know, at a time like that, you're focused कि नहीं यार, I need to prove myself. So you depend on someone else to do a hell of a lot, and that betrayal happens and it goes wrong. And from a childhood friend, you don't expect that because that is your go-to people, you know, and we're still 8-10 of us who are kindergarten friends, 64 years of friendship, you know, and that's what keeps me going too.
And then
it's magical. And then one such person does a game on you, then you start, because of that, I don't want to not trust others.
Yeah.
That shouldn't become my go-to thing to say, you know, nahi, it happened, मैं नहीं करूँगा. लेकिन होते रहता है, it's okay. Little thing. Yeah, like I said, financially, I'm never bothered about anything because I've never had any goal. I've never had कि मेरे बैंक में इतना होना चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए, वो होना चाहिए. I take it as it comes.
कभी नहीं सोचा?
नहीं, कभी नहीं. Because
for my kids, I would want
no. I would want to educate. My father only said one thing: the Buddhi Shastra is the most powerful Shastra. Educate your children because come what may tsunami का यहाँ property खत्म हो गया. बुद्धि की शास्त्र है वो कहीं भी जाके ये हो सकती है और वही इंडिया तो प्रूव कर रहा है. भारत प्रूव क्या कर रहा है कि हमारी बुद्धि की वजह से ही हम सब जगह है. आप कहीं भी बोलो, टिम्बकटू में भी बोलोगे, अगर सर्वाइव होके वो इकोनॉमी सर्वाइव हो रही है तो हमारा हाथ है उसमें. You know, that is buddhi ki shastra. So you always said educate your children. I still remember actor going to dad. I said, Dad, they say the American school is a damn good school, but the fees are too much. What if I don't make it? What happens? He says, give them the best you can, and it'll all happen.
Nice.
So,
and when you went school, you went school with royals. Like, I mean, royal, matlab, very rich kids.
No, you know what? That's an amazing thing about Dad. We used to live in Lamington Road. We lived in a one-room kitchen, very close to Dad's restaurant. But that area wasn't a very upmarket area.
Okay.
He couldn't afford it. But he took a loan, borrowed money from his friends and bought an apartment in Nepean Sea Road, way beyond his means.
Okay.
And I asked him that time, Dad, why did you do this? That time when you couldn't afford it, your loans were on you. He said, Beta, because if I would have let you grow up here, this is the kind of mentality you would have had. I put you into a better area because we don't fit in there. So we'd be conscious. We'd be aware of that there are, you know, people who are way above us in status, in wealth, in every way. And you would always be well behaved and thankful for that. But at the same time, you would grow up with people whom you would want to emulate and be like. You know, you'd want to educate yourself. You'd want to get yourself a car. He said, till you don't learn to spend, you never learn to make. You know, spend within your means, but spend money. Don't save it. Spend money on the good things in life. To travel, to do things, to achieve something for your children, music class. Do everything that you can educate them with, and give them that extra to be able to do things. A good car, which means you have to work hard for a good car. Chori to nahi kar sakta wo mere. To do that. And that's how I've lived my life. I probably haven't saved as much as I've probably spent on a better life. You know,
interesting. शुरू से ऐसे थे.
शुरू से ही ऐसे थे और आज भी ऐसे ही हूँ.
You'd spend way more.
Yeah, I'd spend way more in the sense, not get into debt into it, but spend, like they say, इतनी की savings होनी चाहिए वो में नहीं. I would go as per the year and my needs. And Lakshmi ji, I always say she takes care of me all the time.
And isn't it bad?
It is bad, but that's what I did, and I've done it brilliantly. I've given my kids a decent life, a great education. And just fallen into place. And that's why I said real estate is the only thing that has saved me, because my investments were in real estate. अच्छा ये है तो चलो ये ले लिया, एक घर ले लिया, एक ये कर लिया. That is what saved me, because the minute you feel shelter है सर के ऊपर, it's easy है. Don't worry about it. It'll take care of itself.
तो मेरी फैमिली में एक saying, I think सिंधी लोगों में बोलते हैं, it's the literal Hindi meaning is कि भगवान मेरे खर्चे बढ़ाओ, क्योंकि खर्चे तो उसी के बढ़ते हैं जिसके इनकम होती है.
In one way, वही तरीका है, वही है. और जब आप ऑनेस्ट हो और आपकी मीन्स सही है, तो आप गलत जा ही नहीं सकते.
Is there a strategy that you follow in order to buy certain real estate or like certain buildings or certain projects?
Sure.
What is it?
Location, always. Society, and being an actor. It's about protecting yourself from the outside world, so that it's the right environment. For me, it would be about less families. It would be about great amenities, and like I said, location. The most important things for me, because you need to keep your privacy also. At the same time, you need to understand, use the facilities. You've got to see what kind of people, who are the people who are there with you, whether it's the right mindset. Very, very important. I mean, that's what I tell Ahan and Atya also, ki don't buy a property because you want to show something to someone or prove something to someone. But if it protects you, protects your family, protects you,
protects your peace, protects your...
Absolutely. Buy peace. And that's the thought process behind it. I mean, today, Rahul and Atya didn't buy the house, the one which Mana and me bought. They bought the house because of the convenience of the family also. Brother there, father there, mother there, children there. Great house, great home, very few apartments. You have your privacy, but yet you have a very strong community and a family. You're involved in the development of the building. You're a part of the committee, So you look at all that. There are bigger buildings, could be better buildings that are there, but this suits us. Central when it comes to work, between both.
Interesting. So these are all the things that you would consider instead of having an ego buying and like
absolutely
बड़ा घर लेना चाहिए.
नहीं.
मेरा भी बंगलो हो, मेरा ये हो.
नहीं, man.
कभी आया ऐसा? Were you egoistic at any point?
No, never ever. Even my first home buying, my farmhouse, was so that my children could grow up with me. So I could recreate Mangalore, and I've done exactly that. There are roosters running, there are ducks there, there are koi fish there, my own water reservoir, everything to do with sport, nature. It was a place with 2 trees. It's got over 400 trees now. Why? What fruit is growing? I have no answer to it. When somebody says, "यार यहाँ लीची कैसे grow कर सकता है?" I said, "Grow हो रहा है." मैं सवाल पूछता नहीं और मैं जवाब देना मुझे आता नहीं है, but it's growing. So there's a lot of memories.
Mm-hmm. What sport do you play?
I play cricket. I used to play squash. And every table tennis. All of it. And I'm good. I'm very good at it. I mean, I haven't tried paddle and pickle because that is something that I'm trying to do of my own. And now I've taken it upon me कि जिस दिन मेरा कोर्ट खुलेगा उस दिन मैं खेलूंगा वरना नहीं खेलूंगा. Yeah, that's
We'll play whenever.
And it's about recovery. It's not just about paddle. It's about health, wellness, recovery, everything. I've never spoken about this, but it got delayed a bit because you know how properties are and stuff like that. But yeah,
It's like a health club.
yeah, completely. It is anti-aging. It is recovery. It is for athletes and people who love sport, you know, and so it's a great place. It's a great place. It'll be one of a kind.
I'll come, we'll play.
Yeah,
And
for
we'll
sure.
also play TT one day.
TT, even I'm damn good at TT. I mean, you're younger, so
I'm not like very good, but I'm good.
no, I'm good. I was very good, but now I'm good.
We'll play at one. But racket sports I play because I also play squash, TT, all of this.
Yeah. So I have a squash court in Khandala also.
Acha.
I have a squash court. Yeah. I have a bowling machine. So I was one of the first few guys 20 years ago to put a bowling machine.
You love doing
Nets,
all this
nets,
sport.
Yeah, because that's the only thing. See, it's very important कि जब आपके पास घर हो ना और आपके घर में कोई मेहमान आता हो या बच्चे जब आते हैं वहां दोबारा जाना, अगर सेकंड होम में दोबारा जाना बहुत ये, otherwise there are too many attractions. Let's go to this, let's go to that. Abhi, because of this, they only want to run because of that. That's why whether it's a home, whether it's a second home, whatever it is, it has to have things that will take care of all. So even when I was building the home, the farm, I was very clear that I need exit, I need the golf cart to reach the room, I need motion with the wheelchair. Dad and mom are getting older. You know, dad was nearly closer to 70 when it was happening. So I was aware of all that. So I built everything accordingly.
Nice.
You know,
Sub.
Yeah.
What are you most proud of putting there?
My trees. I have a tree. I have a major waterfall, of course, during the monsoons, running, splitting the property and going.
Nice.
And a major waterfall. So you're sitting on top of that waterfall. I've got a spring out there, which throws out water through the year. So because of the overflowing of the spring, I've dammed it. There's a mini waterfall that happens 365 days a year. There are a lot of animals down there, so they get the fresh water supply. You know, so and because of the rainwater harvesting and everything that I've done, a land that was absolutely barren because there were only rocks. Today, the water level is probably pouring out from everywhere else. So those are the things. And I did it just through reading and understanding and sitting with this boy and working on it.
All by yourself?
All by myself. There's no engineer, nobody that was involved in it.
How long did it take you?
I think it took me 4 or 5 years to get the actual foundation going. And my trees took I lost a lot of trees also because, you know, ground level there was rock, it used to hit rock. Then understanding what works, what doesn't work, what plants consume, how much water, how do they let go, all that.
How big is the place?
It's a 2.5 acre plot.
2.5 acres.
Yeah. But I got my solar. I put a windmill 20 years ago because somebody told me that wind power would help. He cheated me fully. But that windmill still stands up. It's not connected. And solar and everything. I had everything. Even today, my entire house works on solar.
Nice.
Completely. Zero electricity bill. It's solar. So I'm very clear about, you know, when I talk environment, I don't talk about just shutting a tap. I talk about genuinely creating an impact in whatever little way I can.
But जब आप ऐसी सोसाइटी में हो जहाँ से आपसे बहुत ज्यादा रिच सक्सेसफुल स्टेटस में बहुत ऊपर लोग हैं, कभी आपको ऐसा लगा कि आप इंफीरियर हो?
नहीं, स्कूल में मैं स्कूल कैप्टन था. आई वाज द हीरो. मुझसे ज्यादा एजुकेटेड और स्मार्टर लड़के स्टेज पे हर रोज नहीं जा सकते थे. मैं जाता था क्योंकि स्कूल कैप्टन था. बैडमिंटन, आई मीन टेबल टेनिस हो, क्रिकेट हो, एथलेटिक्स हो, आई यूज्ड टू रिप्रेजेंट द स्कूल. I was the hero. So one should never feel inferior anyways, because you are who you are. I think from day one I had realized that I am who I am and my attitude depends on who you are. आप अच्छे हो मेरे साथ, I'll be very, very warm. And that's a part of my DNA again. That's exactly how I am. You show me attitude and I will give it back to you and you won't even realize it. You know, and once you're in a sport, you learn to win, you learn to lose, you learn to share the stage with people. You're secure. Again, I used to take up challenges. I still remember a friend of mine, who was a very, very close friend of mine. that triggered me off, and my friends talk about it. Even today, I was sitting at the restaurant and I was on the counter. Counter यानी change होता है ना, चिल्लर. ₹2 अच्छा 20 पैसे वापस दिया. I was on the counter and he drove in his Mercedes. तभी टायर चेंज होते हैं, नए टायर्स वही मिलते थे हमारे बाजू में. It was called Alibai Premji Tire Wala, the number 1 tire wala in the city. So he had brought his car and he needed to make a call. Mobiles नहीं थे, तो he said चलो बाजू के रेस्टोरेंट में जाता हूँ. He knew I had a restaurant and he saw me on the counter and he said, तू काउंटर पे बैठता है? I said, हाँ. Acha, funny, yeah, seeing you here and stuff like that. Of course, one felt hurt. That was over. Came, made that call, went home. When I went back, we used to hang out at this place, Jackie, Dada, all of us, called Wonderworld, Pastry Palace. The first thing he came was he had sat everybody was there, and he had narrated the story that he was selling idli, vada. He was doing all that. That hurt me. That is the only time I probably told someone कि one day वो तो लिख के ले ले, I'll be bigger than you. पैसे के मामले में नहीं बात कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन नाम मेरा इतना होगा कि तू देखते रहेगा. And to date, even Mana says this, and everybody says this, कि यार सबके सामने तूने बोला. I was very clear. I didn't know films or whatever, but I knew I was going to make it. It could have been a 5-star hotel that I was dreaming of, which is still my dream, but I would make it. So we didn't call it manifestation there. People called it overconfidence. But I believe that was manifestation. You know, words have changed. But सोच तभी हमारी थी कि नहीं यार कुछ ना कुछ करूंगा. Dad अगर 9 साल के ये, and I wanted to give them the comforts also, that I'll do this, I'll do that.
But when some critics said कि आपको बंद कर देना चाहिए acting और इडली बेचना चाहिए, at that point did you feel?
Oh yeah, I was in tears for days together. I cried. I've cried. Because I thought maybe it's over. Because they knew better. I'd never seen the studio in my life here. Acting class for me was not even 10 days of acting class and I had started work. So I didn't know. And my first film was complete, Arzu. And then the director and producer fought, so it was shelved. This was my second film. And it released and they're saying this. I didn't know what had hit me. But then when I sat back and I thought, I said, हाँ यार, acting तो आती नहीं. Action के बल पे मैंने जो कुछ भी किया था, एक्शन के बल पे किया था, बॉडी. So I need to learn. And I learned the craft. How did I learn the craft? By doing death-defying stunts. Got more films. Because people said, यार पागल है यार, ऐसा तो कोई नहीं करता यार, बॉडी देख यार. So then I started focusing less on my body, more on my craft, my language, South Indian family, South Indian diction wasn't right. Grammatically, I made a lot of mistakes. So I had to mug. So when you mug, 20-30% of your mind is on dialogue. सही बोल रहा हूँ कि नहीं, और acting पे कम है. So slowly understood and started working. Yeah. But I felt bad. And
लगा उस टाइम पे कि maybe सही बोल रही है.
Of course सही बोल रहा था, लेकिन ऐसे बोलने की जरूरत नहीं थी उसको. Critical appreciation भी होता ना. आज हम किसी के बारे में भी कुछ भी बोलते हैं, तो आज staff हो, ये हो, we don't. The intent is not to insult them and write them off. No? The intent is to get them to improve.
Yeah.
So critically appreciate cinema. No? आप क्यों ये आप ठान लेते हो कि किसी की धज्जियां उड़ानी है, कि फिल्म की धज्जियां उड़ानी है मुझे? नहीं. That is our bread and butter. That's why even today it hurts when people write off a film. I say मत यार, एक हफ्ता तो दे दो. Let the audience decide कि जाना है नहीं जाना. ये हमारी इंडस्ट्री है. अब like I keep saying, अब जाके खड़ी हो रही है. You know, and
True.
So many people say बॉलीवुड खत्म हो गया. तो I said बॉलीवुड से हमारा लेना देना ही नहीं, बॉलीवुड खत्म ही था. हिंदी फिल्मों से लेना देना था हमारा. हिंदी फिल्म्स आर डूइंग वेल, जो हम भूल गए थे, हम बॉलीवुड को लेके आए. You know, so वो मूड था ही नहीं हमारे में कभी. तो I think हिंदी सिनेमा is doing well, and it'll do well because you're connecting with Hindi.
Yeah.
You're connecting with Bharat, no?
And I believe Indian cinema as whole, forget Hindi, every language is now doing so good.
Because they are touching their core. They know their audience. They know their end user. We had forgotten it. We were talking about Hindi cinema, but we were doing it for subsidies.
But I get so happy these days जब मैं travel करता हूँ बाहर and I speak to few of my friends and उन्होंने कोई मलयालम मूवी देखी होती है या उन्होंने कोई गुजराती मूवी देखी होती है.
मलयालम, Gujarati plays, Malayalam cinema, Marathi cinema, Bengali cinema has always been extraordinary. आज नहीं, दूरदर्शन के टाइम पे भी हम बैठते थे मराठी और बंगाली सिनेमा देखने, मलयालम सिनेमा देखने. आज के लिए आप रामाजी राव, कॉलिंग, हेरा फेरी, कहाँ की सिनेमा है? मलयाली सिनेमा. See the beauty of the writing.
I didn't know. I grew up watching just Hindi.
Yeah, no.
And to me, sometimes now I feel कभी कभार ashamed that my white friends are telling me to watch Malayalam movie, and I'm
Because
like,
international.
यार मुझे देखना चाहिए, and they are telling me देखिए Prime पे available, ये देखिए Netflix. I was like,
No.
I should watch more of this.
Yeah. Indian cinema.
It's reaching
Yeah,
places. It's finally reaching places.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you वैसे on another note, are you comfortable with losses
Yeah, absolutely.
like failure?
Oh yeah. I'm
Because you've been achiever, no? All that.
मैं घोड़े पे चलता हूँ. And financial loss, I don't even bother about. I don't even bother about. Not at all. No anxiety, no stress, no tension, no nothing. Film failures, of course, it hurts you because there's a lot of effort that goes into it. But I've now learned to
How many films flopped?
probably. I mean, the thing is that time they said flop is because the distributor said flop. Collection कितना हुआ किसी को मालूम नहीं है. हाँ, आज हम 10 साल की रिकवरी देख लेते हैं, एसेट वैल्यू गिन लेते हैं, कैलकुलेशन अब ये आ गया ना, अब एक्सेल शीट में फिल्में बनने लग गई ना, तो बहुत फर्क पड़ने लग गया. आज आपका शेयर सही है तो फिल्म की टिकट बाइंग होती थी, तभी हमने कुछ नहीं, हमको तो हाउसफुल बोर्ड दिखाई देता था. सो आई डोंट थिंक फाइनेंशियली बहुत लॉस हुआ होगा. 20-30% मे बी वुड हैव ब्रोकन इवन एंड फिल्म वुड हैव लॉस्ट. कोई ऐसे डूबता नहीं था.
बट कमर्शियली फ्लॉप, लाइक विच, जहाँ पे आपको बोलते थे कि फ्लॉप है?
Probably 20-30% of the 135-140 films that I've done.
But then there was a big period as well, no? I think 10-year period जब कुछ success नहीं हो रहा था.
I think after 2010, because every film of mine, it came into the radar of the multiplexes and action films not working and action distribution sahi nahi milna. See, today it is success and failure is not necessarily to do with the quality of films. It's to do with the marketing.
Yeah.
It's to do with the sales. कि थिएटर किसको मिलेंगे? आज अच्छी पिक्चरें थिएटर ही नहीं मिलती तो क्या करेंगे आप? So it, as much as we all say कि it is content that drives it, content cannot drive a film unless and until it gets the right release. It gets the right timing. It gets the right films. It gets the right audience. How do you do it? Today, Border and Dhurandhar running simultaneously. Other films will not get a chance to stick their neck out. So a lot of factors matter. And today it's about, my film is a hit. We've done brilliant. Why have you done brilliant? Because your numbers are good. Has the money come back? No. But the share value has increased. So it's all about, there's a lot of manipulation, there's a lot of play, it's a lot of shares that are being looked at. You're not seeing pure box office. And very few, very, very few, I'd say 10-15% probably are pure box office successes because they don't know any other way. But all the companies that are there, they have to manage, and build that hype. I mean, that's what it's come to and that's the way it is and it's going to remain. But so it's very difficult to judge. I think you have to judge good cinema and bad cinema. Film अच्छी नहीं थी, film बहुत अच्छी थी.
Success should be.
Success failure will have to be, the networks will have to take a call.
कि उसके जो backers है वो कितने business savvy है, that will define.
Absolutely. Excel sheets, like I said, Excel sheets are making films. If they make films from a financial perspective, I'm still okay with it. Excel sheets trying to run scripts, choose artists who fit in, that's a tough call.
Now the studio cinema does this, no? Like when the studios get in, they want to do this.
Yeah.
That's how it is. But see, I was doing my research of kara tha podcast ke liye, I found some very fascinating math about your movie success and stuff. And that was something that I found out. I don't know how true or false it is, but I'm going to put it out.
Yeah.
It said that you've done about 110 movies.
Not more.
Like maybe more, but like they've done about 110 movies. And your hit ratio was 12%. That means that every one movie which went hit, the others 8, there were 8 movies which didn't get hit. And still, like imagine, 1 hit, 8 not so hit, and uske baad bhi you are one of the most decorated actors, entrepreneurs.
No, that's what I said, because the math was different. The math was completely different. Producer, घर पैसे लेके गया. Could he make another film? Was tickets तभी चिट्ठियों पे टिकट ये करते थे ना. तो इट वाज ऑलवेज अबाउट कि आज डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर आके फिल्म खरीद ली उसने तो मेरी फिल्म बिक गई और मेरे पैसे वापस आ गए तो इट वर्क्स. बॉक्स ऑफिस there was no real calculation to it. So that's why a lot of us did a lot of work and we continued to do work is because of that. Today, kids, 1 film, 2 films, and they write the kids off. Even after a big hit, if the math doesn't go right according to them, it's written off.
And in that, so that, let's say in 10, 12 years, when things were not working out, at what point, was there any point where you thought कि छोड़ देता हूँ, नहीं करूँगा, movies नहीं करूँगा?
Of course.
अब मुझ में वो बात नहीं है कि मेरा हो गया है कि what was the thought?
No, the thought was कि गलत फिल्में choose की मैंने see, the thing is, my percentage of, I think, new directors, if you see, would be more than 50-60% first time directors, first time producers. तो गलतियां मैंने कहाँ की थी, I know that. You know, I wasn't calculative. I went with the heart. So I lost out a lot there also. Then I realized that once you get into this cycle, junk comes to you. And when junk comes to you, it's a time that you don't want to be a part of that junk. You know, it's better that, it doesn't, you don't do work. And even if you ended up with a good film, the producer back was broken by the time the release came.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to market it. He wouldn't get the right theater. So, you know, it's a vicious cycle then. And that's when I said, you know what, stay out of it. There's so much more that one can contribute to. Rather than doing crap and losing that name and that goodwill and the brand, continue doing
something else.
Continue doing other things.
But did you at any point mentally lose belief in yourself?
No, never. That is one thing that I never did. I knew I had so much in me, other than just movies, and the skill to do something also, that never. And then Dad fell unwell. So, you know, this whole thing of being with him and staying at home felt better, much better, rather than do trash. You know, I did Darbar because I wanted to tick that box of working with Rajni sir. You know, and that's why I played negative in Darbar. But after that, so many offers, never. But if you're talking about a great character and a role with substance, then I would never say no to something that I liked. Playing negative, no.
But just
not for me.
Randomly putting you in, making you villain.
No. Never would do that.
And why?
I don't like it. You've been a hero. You've been someone who's been, the nation has believed that you're the one who can single-handedly punch down 10 people. Why would you want to be thrown around?
Doesn't suit
No, it doesn't suit me. It doesn't. Old school doesn't think that way.
But isn't it like कि आप actor हो, actor तो कुछ भी कर सकता है?
नहीं, not at all. Actor कुछ भी नहीं कर सकता. बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो आज भी मैं फिल्मों में नहीं करूँगा. You know, I've lost an English film, a big one, and shot in the country because there was a gruesome rape that had to be done, and they didn't want to show it any other way but the way they should. And I was clear when I said no. They said, but you're an actor. I said no. There's an image also. You know, and where do we come from? We come from an India that believes everything that they see. You know, and today, box office might not work, but love works of mine. Send a new kid with me anywhere into the interiors, and I'll show you what fan following is. I'll show you what hysteria is. I'll show you what love is.
That is true.
So
respect is massive.
Finally, that's what I'm going to take to my grave. No, you know, मेरी पहली इंटरव्यू में मैंने कहा था कि who would you want to emulate your career, like whom would you want to end up? And then I had said, like Dharamji, loved by everybody, man of the masses, loved by everybody. You know, when love takes over, you might make a lot of mistakes. I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes, but they overlook all that. That love remains. And that's why I say, send any kid with me into the interiors of India, and they'll realize that, my God, these guys are loved. You send a Jackie Shroff anywhere, send a Sunny Deol anywhere, send a Dutt anywhere, a Mithunda anywhere. It's love. So it's also what you do. And, you know, for me, I probably don't have the kind of blockbusters a whole lot of others might have till now, but that love is there. You know, so and that's what.
But do you look at other, let's say, your friends and be like, they did something जो मुझे भी शायद कर लेना था, या maybe
of course.
I would have changed something different.
Of course. With your career, never go blind into anything. Career has to be balanced. There has to be faith. there has to be belief, but at the same time you have to be practical. But the only thing I see my contemporaries and think is, look at them, yeah, they're still out there, they're still fit, they're still looking good, they're still doing great work. Maybe one day even I'll do it, and I continue to do it. I keep myself fit, I keep myself ready. You never know. Something comes up and you're at it. It's like suddenly franchises are big. So whether it's a Welcome, whether it's a Hera Fairy, whether it's an Avara Pagal, whether it's anything, it's all being remade. And what are you living on? Nostalgia now. You're back to the 90s. Border 2 worked like magic because of the magic of Border 1.
True.
Because of what J.P. Datta, the legend, and O.P. Datta, and Javed Saab, and all of them had delivered together.
But who do you look at as in your friend circles who you feel like this guy was the smartest? Maybe he made the smartest moves.
I wouldn't say smartest moves. I would say honest moves, conscious, very conscious about position God has given them and done right. I'd say Akshay, Ajay, done brilliantly well. Created a world for themselves. A world that is larger than life, a world that is about respect, respect at the box office. I think managed it beautifully. And they continue to do it. If you see the actors who are delivering blockbusters, all 55 plus. All 55 plus are giving constant blockbusters. Of course you have a Ranveer and you have a Ranveer, but I'm talking about consistency.
Yeah.
These kids are still 10 films, 12 films old. 100 plus films, and continue to give blockbusters. Sunny, just look at that.
Interesting. I never heard anyone say this, but this is true.
No, but it is true.
55 plus, they are delivering.
Salman Khan, Shah Rukh, Amir, Sunny, Ajay, Akshay, all of them are, that the box office is going to jingle there with them around.
Why do you think today the stardom with which Shah Rukh Khan has built is incredible? It's probably the biggest in the world right now. And others were not able to build as much as what Shah Rukh has built.
Because he had music. And in India, music matters. The best songs, he had Yash with him. And the best songs, his commitment to his craft. Him inventing himself all the time. The grace. He's complete. Complete from a human perspective also.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, the respect he gives, the respect he expects. He's there when he needs to be. He's not about social media. He's not about posting. He's not about anything. He has the yesteryear charm, which a lot of the earlier stars have. The kids of this generation believe that social media is the way forward. That news needs to be put out. Whereas these guys aren't that way. It's like a Ranveer. The charm of a Ranveer is he's not there. He's there when his work is there. His work speaks, and rest is for you to imagine.
True.
And when you start imagining in the way you see the individual. Absolutely.
What's the most misunderstood thing about you?
I think that I am an unbelievable businessman, and I have got 20 businesses running, and that probably I'm one of the richest actors in the industry.
That's
Pure
wrong.
bullshit.
Pure bullshit.
Yeah, it's not wrong. It's bullshit. I'm telling you, the other kids are doing so much better. I've managed to keep myself afloat. Like I said, real estate is what has saved me. Businesses, loss. Before I got into movies, profit.
Okay.
The minute I got into movies and I wasn't taking care of it, I've lost. I've lost in probably every second business that I've done.
Tell me one or two
that's why-
businesses you lost.
In the restaurant industry, I lost. Then in the garment trade, the minute I got out and tried to do something on my own, I lost. When I tried to do something with a startup personally, but I was also working, I lost. I lost big money. But once I started backing startups and understood them and started working with these kids who are professionals, I think I benefit.
खुद से
नहीं, खुद से क्योंकि खुद का टाइम देना पड़ता है. अपनी बिजनेस होती है. जब दूसरे चलाते हैं दूसरों का हो जाता है. The same kind of commitment कभी नहीं आएगा. And that's why when kids today say, no, family business, I want to do something on my own. No, that family business has been set beautifully. Manage it and then do something else. But manage that legacy of yours. Don't let it go. Because legacy just doesn't come that way. People might call it nepotism, but for me that word doesn't exist. हर बाप अपने बच्चे के लिए करता है और हर पिता या माँ हो अपने फैमिली के लिए सब कुछ करता है. दूसरों को ऑफ कोर्स उसी चक्कर में बहुत सारे लोगों को मदद मिलती है, लेकिन ना.
And you believe that most of the investments that you do, including the real estate, including the house, you feel emotions take over more than the business investment side or like the smartness side? In
businesses, yes. And even in homes, yes. Because, I'm someone who believes that if it's real estate, I'm someone who believes that don't rent here, own.
You?
Own. Because again, I don't want the Excel sheet dictating life. I don't want to be a nomad. I don't want to be someone, yes, freedom sounds very good, yahan, kabhi wahan. Families aise nahi banti. Ownership, legacy, belonging matters a hell of a lot, and belonging is the home, the family, the neighbors, the society. There has to be contribution. If you don't own something, you would be, even if it's a society, it's a home. If I don't own it, how am I going to contribute to the development of the society? It will never matter to me. So if I don't develop my society, how will I develop my city? How will I develop my country? तो वो रहना बहुत 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 जरूरी है. My call. They may be, cost is this much. घर का कोई cost होता है क्या? कोई value होती है क्या? बेच के तो तुम exactly बेचने के लिए नहीं खरीदे हो आप. So it's priceless. Then how do you say कि it costs this much and the interest? I don't believe in all that. I believe own.
Well, that's more emotional.
Yeah, it's emotional, and if it wasn't for Mangalore and my parents hadn't owned that home, where would my roots be?
So for you, buying a house is an emotional decision. Buying real estate is an emotional decision.
Not always. If it's commercial, it's different. If it's residential, it's different. Like I said, if I didn't have my ancestral home, which is my home, I have my share in it and we own it, what would my roots be? What would I go back to correct myself? Where would I go back? Where would I get my culture from? Where would I understand who all are there taking care of me and protecting me and for giving me this kind of a life? How would I see the difference between the highs, the lows, the rich, the middle class, the lower middle class? How would I be able to mix with everybody? How would I still continue to be able to live that kind of a life? I would have been in a world of my own, believing that, the spotlight is the only light that I require in my life. No, I need to look around.
But then you also believe ना कि यहाँ पर भी होना चाहिए. You believe कि जिस सिटी में रहते हो जहाँ पे वहाँ पे रेंट मत करो and you should buy that.
Absolutely, क्योंकि वहाँ फिर आप contribute करते हो ना. आप contribute करते हो. See, I may be completely wrong, but I contribute. I know I was secure while growing up because I grew up in a society. I grew up with 120 families. Diwali, Holi, this meant everything to me. I was a part of the society. The minute I was 18 plus, I wanted to be a part of the society. I wanted to contribute. Could be for Dandiya, could be for sports, could be for the gym. But there is a contribution. That Sunil Shetty built this gym. तभी तो gym थे भी नहीं. 40 साल पहले उन्होंने gym बना दिया building में. आज भी जब दिखाते तो लोग वो बोलते हैं ना, तो that is contribution. आप रेंट पे हो तो 3 महीने इधर 3 महीने उधर. It becomes very difficult for the children. It's very difficult to build a family when you don't have a home of your own, not a house of your own, a home of your own.
Yeah, I say this since I started making money at a quite young age than my other friends or anyone.
Yeah.
And since then, I've been saying this to my parents, to everyone, and be like कि हर लॉजिक मेरी लाइफ में मुझे बोलता है कि घर नहीं लेना चाहिए, रेंट करना चाहिए. Okay, and still I'm like, the day I'll marry is the day I'll have my own house. I'll buy, and that will be completely emotional buy. Today I'm okay to live on a rent because I'm alone. My parents are in Indore, so I keep going there. That's my route. That's where my roots are from. But there will be one emotional buy which I know it'll either be because I want to gift it to my mom or dad or my wife or whenever my family is there, but I will have an emotional buy. And I don't know why is that. I don't know where is it coming from, but
now it's coming from where you come from. is coming from where you come from, Indore, Roots, Ujjain, Mahakal. Everything just works beautifully. I'm telling you. Even if it's here, if Dad was on rent and Dad would have taken another house on rent there only just because it was a larger home, he wouldn't have moved to Nepean Sea Road. I wouldn't have got the education that I got. I wouldn't have got the stability, the balance, the friends that I have. My friends are my childhood friends. Yeah. 13, 14 of us who have been friends for 60 years plus. Every second holiday together, everything together. In my laws, they're always there. For them, it's not Sunil Shetty, the actor. It's Sunil. Or it's Tanu, That's it. And you need to give that. The stability of school, education.
When was the first time you bought a house?
I bought a house, I think, probably 95, 96 or something like that. Yeah. And I didn't buy a house. I bought a home. And I bought a home because it was attached to Dad's and Mom's house. So I wanted to give them their privacy now because I had a family and didn't want to, because others they're always compromising. Dost aate to room mein chale jate. That's a typical parent.
Yeah.
I do it today also. Aunt says, no, Papa, sit down. No, baby. Mama said, let's go. So I bought the house opposite. We were connected, but yet disconnected. My children grew up with their grandparents. I paid 1.5 or 2x because I wanted that house. But then I lived my entire life with my father because of that. Others probably I'd have been disconnected.
But were you making a lot of money when you first bought house?
No. I was making enough. But I knew because of my dad's and my goodwill and banking that we used to do, because it was a lot of liquid money and, official, but banks came into play in a big way. I got my loan. So,
and you took beyond your means?
Beyond my means, way beyond my means.
Cute.
Because I wanted to be there with them.
No, but still buying a house beyond your means, was it a good thing?
No, it probably wasn't, but it ended up being a good thing. I knew the kind of work I was doing. I knew that I had to continue working at the same pace and with that same kind of energy. Yeah.
Starting में आपने एक बात बोली थी, which is still reflecting here as well, is कि जितना है उससे ज्यादा ही बड़ा घर लो, उससे ज्यादा ही खर्च लो. Why do you have this mindset? Why?
Because Dad always said it. कि यार खर्चा करने सीखो तब कमाने सीखोगे, वरना नहीं यार. अदर्स विल बी, हाँ ठीक है इतने आ गए, अच्छा इतना आ गया, इतने बैंक में डालोगे, इतना इंटरेस्ट आ जाएगा, खुश लाइफ है. लाइफ खुश रहना बहुत जरूरी है, लेकिन आप टाइम मैनेज वो सही करो ना. मेहनत मुझे आज भी मैं, if it's 9 o'clock shift, I'll be there 9 o'clock ready. To this date, 6 o'clock wrap means I go home. You ask me to work till 9, I'll be very unhappy because then now I'll miss dinner with Mana at 6:30. I'll miss my granddaughter. She'll go off to sleep. Tia will then also not be there with me. Ahan will come and Ahan will, whether he'll be home or he'll be out. All these things matter to me. So I have been very clear about all that. And Dad has also always told me and Mom has also told me, itna hi kaam karna zaruri hai. But put in your best. और situation ऐसे create करो कि, and it's worked for me, कि hand to mouth है यार, I need money. But I want this also, And it's not, see, for me, a car doesn't mean I can afford it, so I want a Rolls Royce or I want a XYZ. I need a great mode of transport that suits my personality. And that is what it is. But I need it. But I needed it then also. And the need is the same today because that's my need. It's not my greed. So very, very, very clear about certain things.
But when people hear this, उनको ऐसा लगता है कि अगर हम हमारी मीन से ज्यादा, in simple Indian words, is like मेरी हैसियत से ज्यादा अगर मैं कुछ बड़ा ले लेता हूँ, घर ले लेता हूँ, तो फिर वो 10, 20, 30 साल की जो EMI होती है ना, वो एंजाइटी देती है लोगों को जस्ट सोच के.
नहीं, मैं आपकी हैसियत आपके पैसे के हिसाब से नहीं कर रहा, आपकी काम करने की क्षमता की बात कर रहा हूँ. आपको कितनी कॉन्फिडेंस है अपने आप में कि क्या आप सैलरी पे ही रहोगे हमेशा. क्योंकि मेरा मानना सैलरी एक ड्रग है जो मालिक देता है कि आप ये खाते रहो और वहीं पड़े रहो. Go beyond, work harder. And when you start working, for your example, I've seen you grow as, I would say, a child, a newcomer into this, to a time today when even if it's a validation for one of the most loved sports in the country, you are being used. You've done the ad recently. Why? क्योंकि आपको आप में वो क्षमता दिखी. आप पॉडकास्ट नहीं करते, आप रिसर्च करते हो. यू टॉक सेंस. And when you talk sense and when you believe in yourself and you believe that there's a lot more to me, I'm sure your team is continuously saying, what is it new that we can do to break this? Because even this will stagnate in some time. Podcasts will become, okay, what next? I'm saying have faith in yourself. That's the faith I had in myself. ये नहीं तो पिक्चर नहीं तो ठीक है यार, रियल एस्टेट में कर लूंगा. क्लोथिंग इंडस्ट्री 18 साल की उम्र में आई वाज रनिंग अ ब्रांड दैट वाज नोन वर्ल्ड ओवर यार. न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स में राइट अप मिला था. वो छोड़ के मैं फिल्मों में गया, तब जाके वो गिरा. अगर मैं आज भी संभालता तो probably that has given birth to some of the biggest brands in India. Those they are multi-billion-dollar homes, and every sample that I put out was taken, copied, and sold. And they told us that we're taking it to duplicate. For me, it was sale. For an 18-year-old boy, how did it matter? I said, "ठीक है यार, ले लो. We'll produce more. We had more ideas." That's not my business. Clothes was never my business. लेकिन I made it my business क्योंकि taste था. तो taste था तो मुझे लगा कि यार अच्छे कपड़े पहन सकते हो तो बेच भी सकते हो. And I sold only what I liked. I didn't mischief, yeah, but not for anybody else. I believe that they will like this. Let's do the revolution. So the veggies grow right. There's nothing on it. So it's us. It's you who are making that difference.
Yeah.
A lot of people had started podcasts and stuff like that. But then what's happened? You've seen them go because 1,000 more want to become that Raj. But how do you
keep innovating and just keep believing in yourself?
Absolutely. And it's complete belief in you and honesty. When you're clean from here, you're fearless. You're fearless.
It's you will never think of house as an asset or like an asset to flip or make money and just sell it at 2x, 3x.
No. Never.
Okay, let me ask you this way. Those 3 buildings that your father bought, would you ever sell it?
No.
Even if it's like a 5x, 10x project?
Development is happening. we don't want to be lost in a city that is growing with very little infrastructure here. So I'd go in for redevelopment for sure. But selling, no. I don't think we'll sell unless the area changes completely and the structure doesn't fit that area. With what you are doing or what you're capable of doing. Sometimes that happens. But no, otherwise no.
But for a handsome profit. Like 2x, 3x करके कोई खरीदना
3x, 2x अगर होगा भी अभी, it's only with redevelopment.
होने के बाद would you sell?
We'll have to join develop. So joint development is still owning a part of that property. And then yes.
You won't completely liquidate?
No. I don't think that'll happen.
Why?
Because there's certain sentiment also attached to it. I mean, of course, the property changes completely.
Yeah.
But what will I do? I will end up buying another property only. Then. Generally, this is what happens. कि ठीक है ये बेच के ये, लेकिन यही appreciate हो रहा तो जरूरत ही नहीं है ना.
True.
Liquidity की जरूरत हो कि family में ये है जरूरत पड़ती है. Then it's okay. Then the siblings can also take a call. It's very much owned by my sisters also. They have to take a call, and we are all okay with the way things are now.
Fair. Coming back to your positioning, and you said कि there are things that you wouldn't do. In early years, before joining the movie, you were looked at and perceived as like macho, gunda, alpha.
Yeah.
तो वो गुंडा image कैसे change करी है? क्यों realize किया कि गुंडा image change कर देता हूँ? Like today you're not gunda. Like nobody sees you as gunda at all.
That's because, of course, the kind of films I did changed. Minute एक गुंडा भी बाप बन जाता ना, everything changes. I wasn't a gunda, but I would take on anything. And probably that's why, and the whole appearance, a body, long hair, a villain dikhta, picha khada hona chahiye, all those conversations came up. Then my films also started changing, every time I came back home, I'd ask my parents and wife, how's the film? They'd say, damn good. But the next thing they wanted was a Saradon, because they had hurted because of the overdose of action that I did. So I said, I need to change the kind of films I do. And that's when I started taking risk of doing the Hututus and the Hera Feris and the films like Gopi Kishan and all the other films, which were more family, more fun loving. So I think that's when it changed. And then I think somewhere down the line, the commitment to doing work and going back home straight is what changed.
But did it happen after?
No, it was there from the very beginning. But the more media got to know you, the more people realized that this is the kind of life. He's very clear about work and home. Is I think when things changed, and becoming a father and little things. We believe that in social media especially, कि we believe कि अपने आप को खुश दिखाने के लिए हमको ये करने की जरूरत है, लेकिन सच्चाई में वो नहीं है ना. मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ, खुश रहने के लिए, मुझे खाने में खुश रहने के लिए दाल, चावल, अचार, मॉम, डैड, वाइफ, चिल्ड्रन अराउंड एंड इट इज ब्लिस. बट खुश दिखाने के लिए 5 डिशेस चाहिए, अलग अलग कलर के चाहिए, सही रेस्टोरेंट चाहिए, उसका फोटो सही आना चाहिए. बाकी लोग खाने के लिए तरस रहे हैं कि यार खाना शुरू करें, आप फोटो में लगे हुए हो, और जब खाने लगते हो तो खाना ठंडा है. तो खुश दिखाने के लिए अपने आप को पापड़ बेलने पड़ते हैं. खुश रहने के लिए कुछ ज्यादा कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है. मुझे पार्टीज में जाने का शौक ही नहीं है. आई ऑलवेज बिलीव्ड कि इफ यू बिलीव माई वर्क इज गुड, आई वुड लव टू वर्क विथ यू. बट हाउ कैन आई गो एंड टेल यू यार काम दो मुझे? आई faltered there. It could be for someone who wants to achieve in life, you have to have that in you. I didn't have that in me. I didn't have that in me. I didn't go to anybody. I gave a hit with someone. I won't even call that someone call them to congratulate them. What are we doing next? No. I was never pushy. And कहीं थोड़ा बहुत pushy और business type होना बहुत जरूरी है, जो मैं नहीं था, but ठीक है, and
we'll talk about business. दूसरी side बहुत सारे businesses now you have expanded a lot. But before I go there, I have a last question on this piece. You said you were not pushy, you were content. 10-12 साल का period था where movies were not working, and still आपने self belief नहीं खोया. You were like ये नहीं तो कुछ और करूँगा. You were very confident.
करता था
broken down.
No. Right? क्योंकि like I said, financial security मैंने manage कर ली थी. कहीं ना कहीं हो ही जाता था. And I wasn't bothered about that too much. So when that doesn't take over your life, life is still worth living, enjoying.
But here's what's fascinating then. Recently, when somebody was asking you about Ahaan, and Ahaan ka 2 saal ka period tha, which was not very good, and he was not getting offers.
No, Ahaan got a lot of offers.
Okay.
But he couldn't do the films. He couldn't do the film because he was tied down. He had to do 4 films. He was a pandemic baby. Film released during the pandemic, still did 36 to 40 crores, which is a hit today. Still was a box office success because it opened at 4.5-5 crores. It had a great weekend. 2 states, Karnataka, and I one more, were Omicron, so it was completely shut. Rest of India was at 25%. Tough
still
period.
Did this, yeah.
Still did this. After the pandemic, every film was a disaster. Every film went to OTT. Sajbhai wanted to do a film with him. By the time things settled and he was supposed to start a film, the 2 directors had a problem. The film got shelved 2 days before. And certain media houses started writing that it was because his entourage cost was too much. So it was a tough period. It was a tough period for everybody. But I would look at it from Ahaan's perspective because he was already getting offers. But because the period was so tough, nobody could do anything.
But his 2-year period.
Yeah, 3 years actually.
3 years. And talking about that broke you down. You had tears in your eyes.
Absolutely.
But with yourself, you're okay with 10,
That's what
years.
I said. That's the way I was. That's the way I am. I told you. I mean, without knowing that we would end up coming here, that's the way I am. Your children, for me, my children, my family.
What worries you about him? So that
nothing, that he needs to settle. This is the career that he's chosen. One of the toughest careers that any kid can choose. Success, superb. I know my child will handle it. Failure, can you handle it? So I'm only worried I was only worried about that. But then came a border. Everybody said कि यार उसके बाप ने डिसीजन ले लिया बॉर्डर ही करना चाहिए, नहीं चला तो ये, चला तो वो. But the faith in that film worked for him. I mean, if you say box office, responsible, yes, Sunny, yes, Varun, yes, Diljit. I had a small part to play in it. And success is everybody's, and Ahaan was appreciated. The fact is, अरे रोल ज़्यादा होता ना तो फाड़ देता. इतने में लेकिन बहुत कमाल का किया. So that's another, it's a takeaway. It's how you look at it. For me, it is, चलो ठीक है, जितना भी किया इम्पैक्ट छोड़ के चला गया. आज touchwood, fingers crossed, good offers coming his way. But that's the way the industry is. I know that. Now I'm happy. Now I'm excited. Knowing very well कि after a lull, there comes a period where we will shine because he's worked hard. he's a good-looking boy. He's a very sincere boy, and that's the only thing that I'm worried about. That he's too nice, and there he needs help. He needs help to make the right choices, not like his father, say yes to everything that comes your way, which I think these 2-3 years have taught him a lot.
It's called, there's a phenomenon in psychology, it's called vicarious suffering. Vicarious suffering. It means that जब पेरेंट खुद एक पेन से गुजरता है तो इतना पेन नहीं होता, बट वो सेम पेन अगर वो अपने बच्चों को देते हुए देखता है तो उसकी सफरिंग एटलीस्ट 8x या 10x बढ़ जाती है. So in your brain, like neurologically, you experience more pain.
Probably 20x with me, but no. With him, I've been through a lot.
Here's the last question I have for you. Okay, because there's so many things we talked about. I'm going to stitch it like a movie here and there and make it like a proper thing. The question is, I wanted to ask you at the time when we were talking about your kids, but I saved it for the last. That what is one thing you want your kids to say about you?
That he was a fair man, like his father was an honest man. And, like I say myself, I don't know how much I've achieved, but I've made a lot of friends. And it takes one hell of it takes a lifetime to make a lot of friends, and hopefully peeth piche bhi log acha hi bolenge. That's it. I mean, with a room filled with people will talk about you. It's the minute I get out of that room whether they'll speak in the same way they do.
And are you worried that they might make some mistake which comes from you?
No, I don't think so. But Ahan, and yeah, maybe the trust factor. But then, they'll learn. And as long as they don't get hurt and carry that with them, I've learned to start slowly dropping that side of me. I mean, first I knew when I got hurt, I carried it for X amount of period. Then I started consciously reducing the period. And now I've learned to do away with it probably overnight. And, say, yaar, 10 din ke baad bhul hi jata hu. Aaj hi bhul jaun, let me focus on something else.
It took a while for you to do this?
Yeah, it did.
To forget?
Yeah, it took a while. It took a while for me because
पहले से ऐसे नहीं थे.
I used to really feel bad and let down. I used to feel let down. And then it was impacting my relationship with other people. किसी और के साथ then मैं उसी नजर से देखता था.
दूसरों को भी trust नहीं.
Yeah. So then I said, यार, छोड़ो. And the thing is, once again with me, I have a constant flow of people coming to me कि पैसे चाहिए, मैं हम दे देंगे, वापस देंगे, वो देंगे. पहले वो बुरा लगता था मेरे को कि यार ये फिर मैं दूसरे को कैसे दूं. अभी वो मैं भूल ही गया हूँ. From a money perspective, I will ठीक है यार. That is a part and parcel. I believe I gave him a loan that I didn't want back. I won't call it a loan. I gave him money. But other things in business or Acha, we're doing this film together, this role, ye wo kar lo, and suddenly you realize you're not a part of it, somebody else has been a part of it. All he had to do was call me and tell me. Can I add, the network said no, or आप बिकते नहीं हो इसलिए हमने किसी और, वो बुरा लगता है. वो बहुत बुरा लगता है
कि किसी ने क्लियर बोला नहीं.
क्लियर बोल दे तो मैं ही समझता हूँ कि ठीक है, ये सेल है मेरी, मैं जानता हूँ, बट ये मत करना, आप किसी को होप देके वो मत करना. Those are the things that it'll hurt all of us. And everybody who's human, these things will hurt unless you're thick-skinned. But
fair,
for sure.
Fair. Well, thank you so much, sir. This was a long pending chat.
I know.
It's been long. Finally, you took out time and you came.
Sure. No,
thank you for doing this.
Cheers. Lovely.
When did you start? कब first time health के लिए?
I think health was forever. Right from kindergarten, from school. Because
you were focused on health, like from that?
Yeah. The thing is, I met Sir Devendra Richards once. And obsessive fan of his, went up to him, spoke to him. I still remember him telling me, because he was huge. And every time they give you the feeling that if you're big, you can't play a sport.
Yeah.
Movement nahi hoti. I went to him and asked him. So he said, no, so I can hit the ball harder. Not that he spoke to me for too long. Because his forehands were this big. So I said, you weight train? He said, yes. I said, but they say, he says, no. You see me hit the ball. And that's what mattered, no? Finally. So that caught on to me. So then I started mixing, doing a lot of functional for legs, but a lot of pull-ups and all that otherwise. So I got the size, I got stronger legs that would carry my weight around. Ever since I think 14 or 15.
थैंक यू सो मच ये एपिसोड एंड तक देखने के लिए। अब आपको 3 चीजें करनी है। नंबर 1, अभी इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लो, क्योंकि जितना आप सब्सक्राइब करोगे उतने ही बेहतर हम गेस्ट ला पाएंगे आपके लिए। नंबर 2, प्लीज कमेंट में हमें बताइए कि हमने क्या गलत किया और क्या अच्छा किया, ताकि उस फीडबैक से हम सीख सकें और आपके लिए और बेहतर एक्सपीरियंस क्रिएट कर सकें। एंड नंबर 3, ये एपिसोड किसी एक इंसान के साथ जरूर शेयर करना, क्योंकि एक कॉन्वर्सेशन इनफ होती है किसी की जिंदगी चेंज करने के लिए। आई सी यू नेक्स्ट टाइम। अंटिल देन, कीप फिगरिंग आउट।